Thank you for coming to the online real estate training video number 5. My name is Richard Old, and today I'm going to be talking about property inspections as a negotiation tool and some contract terminology and also what makes a no-risk contract. Now, I would like all properties to have an inspection. You need to inspect every property because you don't know what you're going to find when you look underneath the carpet or under the roof. Those things hide just many flaws. So also I'd like for you to ensure that all your contracts has a subject to inspection clause. It's a great item that we're going to use later on to help us renegotiate the contract, because we're going to make an offer and then we're going to come back and okay, now we found out that all these things need to be done and we can bring them down in price. If not, we're probably not interested in buying the property. So every property must be inspected. After all, you wouldn't buy a car that's used unless you took it to your mechanic to see if there's any major problems with the engine, transmission, drivetrain, something. Just got to make sure it's not going to fall apart on you. Now, if you happen to know a lot about rebuilding houses, then you can use some of your own informal inspection techniques to do an inspection. You first need to kind of get a feel for the property, then initiate the negotiation process. This should involve your inspector and yourself and the owner of the property. Things that you're going to need on your inspection: a clipboard and paper, maybe a personal recorder so you can record things, a pencil, a pen, a cheap digital camera. You don't need an expensive one. A flashlight. Now, what I use and recommend is one of those big aluminum 3D battery, huge, heavy flashlights, because in some of the areas that we go, it might not hurt to have easy access to a club, and those batteries make a formidable weapon. And I hate to say that, but you know, if you've got something like that in your hands, you're, I think, a little more respected. People are less likely to bother you. And I'd also like a ball bearing and an inquisitive attitude. Now, we're going to need to take detailed notes and investigate the entire property. On the outside, take a look and see if the roof might have signs of damage. Maybe it sways a little bit. Maybe the shingles are curling up, might need replacing. When you're inside, you take a look at the ceiling, looking for water damage or stains or fresh paint on the ceilings. And take your flashlight and highlight that blemish if you see a little different color or some stains. Don't say anything, just look it over and keep looking at it intensely. Don't say a thing until the homeowner finally says something like, oh yeah, well, we fixed that. And then they'll go in and explain what it was. Pretty interesting to find out some of the things they'll tell you. But if it was a leak and they did repair it, well, then there should be signs of the repair. So if they painted over it and said, oh yeah, there was a leak and we repaired it, you go up in the attic and you don't find repairs, well, then you know it's still going to be leaking. When you're in the kitchen areas, check things like the cupboard. Look under the sink. You might want to pause there or look there twice, because there is always going to be problems underneath the sink. Pretty much guarantee that. Use your ball bearing to see if the counter surfaces are flat or sloped. See, maybe on the floor, see how level the house is. It's an old trick, but it really does show people that there is a problem. So when the owner's there, there's no doubt about it. Look, I put the ball down there, it's rolling. You don't have to say a word. It says it for you. So once you get the inspection report and professionally completed, we use that to negotiate a new sales price. Make sure you document all the blemishes and all the problems. You're going to use those to justify your discount. Now we're at the post-property inspection negotiation. All your contracts must have an inspection clause, subject to inspection, and then give it a certain number of days, maybe 10 days from acceptance. Now keep in mind, on the inspection, most people don't know what to look for. That's why it needs to be professional. Paint can hide an awful lot of damage. Roofs can hide termite damage, water leakage, infestations. Plumbing can be old and outdated. The electrical system can be a fire hazard. And it's okay to replace all that. I've bought a house where I replaced the outside wall and the inside drywall, and you can see right through the house. There's nothing but 2x4s sticking straight up and down. Also, it makes it very simple to replace the plumbing and the electrical when all the inside drywall is taken down. So just keep that in mind. Once you're having to do all that, why not replace the plumbing, electrical? It makes for a much better sales tool if you're going to sell the house, or if you're going to rent it out. It's all new. You don't have to worry about people calling up and saying, oh, we got bad pipes. So now when you do get the report, estimate the cost of repairs and evaluate if this is going to change your ideas of purchasing the property. You may decide that's just too much work for me. I don't want to do that. Go to the next one. Tell them that you don't want to buy it because of all the things that need to be done. They know a lot needs to be done. Or you can use a report to renegotiate a lower price for the property. You can ask the owner to cover the repairs of the cost. The cost of the repairs, and the owner will most likely opt to drop the price instead of actually doing the repairs. So when you call them up, you could say, "Hi, this is Rick Old. I've received that inspection report, and I'm very interested in buying the property. However, he raised some major concerns. Apparently," and then you start giving them a list of all the different things, even the smallest little things. Give a price for each item, and then a total price at the end, because it's going to allow you to renegotiate the price. If not, if the people won't negotiate a new price, they might in a month or two. So if you just don't want to buy it unless you get a lower price, hold off, because if they don't sell it, and they probably won't, then they're going to be much more anxious later on. At this point, offer the seller a couple of choices. You could tell them, do you want to repair the damage before we close on the property? Or do you just want to reduce the cost of the property to offset the damage? They never, ever want to repair the damage. They want to close the house on time as quickly as possible, get out from underneath that piece of garbage. They hate it. They don't want it. They want to get out. They're willing to lose some money if they have to get out from underneath it. No one wants to do repair damage, and in some instances, they find it financially impractical. For example, a bank. They could do the repairs and then sell the house, but when the repairs are being done, someone could slip, fall, hurt themselves, sue the bank, and instead of the bank making a little extra money, the bank is now going to be sued for $2 million. They don't want to be sued. They don't repair their properties. As a whole, there's always exceptions to everything. But as a group, they don't want to repair. They want to get out from underneath it. Please, let's just go ahead and get it done. Okay, how about some contract terminologies? Some of them are very obvious. Some don't quite seem right. Like the seller, well, that would be the name of the person selling the property. The buyer would be you and or assigns. You got to put in there that, you know, it's either you or people that you're going to assign the contract to. A lot of buyers or sellers don't even know what that means. They just kind of skim through it and they don't even notice it. If they did know, they may not like the idea because they don't want it assigned. They want you to buy it. But in this case, and or assigns. The legal description is not the address. It is the legal description as found in the courthouse, as it's recorded. It will talk about this lot and how many feet from that location and this, and it's long and convoluted. But the street address is exactly what you'd expect. It is the street number, city, state, zip, etc. How about items include? You should ask for any items that are in or on the property. If it is not attached to the house, it is something that the seller can take with them when they close. They close, they go in, they take it all out. If you want it, then you need to tell them that this is a part of the deal. If it's an unattached building, then you need to tell them it includes that building. Now, if there is a bench in the basement that's attached to the wall, that's a part of the house. But if there's a bench in the basement that you think would be good for a workbench and you'd like to keep it there, paint it white, look real nice, well, then you need to tell them, hey, the bench is a part of the items included. Otherwise, they have legal right to take it out. Purchase price, yeah, that is just the price of the property. Escrow to be held. You do not want the seller to hold the earnest money. You want your realtor to hold it. It's not going to be cash. It's going to be a check. They're not going to cash it. Oh, wait a minute. If they don't cash it, I can make 50 offers and have no out-of-pocket expense. Not bad. So make sure the escrow is held by someone on your side, not someone on their side. Balance at close, any cash to be transferred to the seller. Hopefully you've done your job well and it'll be zero, or maybe money's coming back to you. You'll hear us talk on occasion about an out. We've got to have a contract with an out, subject to partner's approval. Well, a partner could be your cat, could be a doorknob, a friend, a neighbor. It doesn't have to be someone who actually is going to make money on it. It's just someone that you can say, no, my partner said that they didn't want to do the deal. I'm sorry. And then you're out. You get out. You get your money back. Don't have to worry about it. We're going to make lots of offers. We're not going to accept them all. Now, we may get several accepted from us, but we're only going to accept the ones that we feel are best for us, not necessarily all of them. And then you have and or assigns. Every contract has to have and or assigns on it. That way, you may think right now, well, I want to keep this house, but what if someone offers you way too much for it? We're going to sell it. So, yes, make sure it says and or assigns. It doesn't hurt to have it there. Subject to inspection prior to closing. Yes, I'd like to have it subject to inspection. I want to be able to use that to renegotiate the contract down. A deposit. I don't want them cashing the deposit until it's accepted, the contract's accepted, and then they've got 5 days. It gives you time to kind of pull everything together. The subject to mortgages, the subject to liens being cleared. Yes, we want all those things cleared. Subject to the OTB, which is other toboggan. No, that is owner take back. That's what that is. Owner take back. That's like they're going to take a second mortgage. So if they're going to take back a second mortgage, we want whoever we assign it to be able to assume that mortgage also. And also non-recourse for the same reason. And that's all we have for this video. The next one is real estate video number 6. And we're going to go over a contract assignment. Now, that's all that video is going to be about. And there's a lot to it. So we're going to have just that. It's going to be for those people that need a no money down situation. They don't have any credit. They don't have a job. Can this job still be done like you see on late night TV show? You can buy this house even if you had a foreclosure last week. Well, sure, but it's difficult. But we're still going to talk about it because it is available to everyone, not just people without credit and without jobs. So until then, appreciate you coming on by. Thanks a lot again. My name is Richard Old.